Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum. How are you guys? It's been a while since the last time I made the video. So we go to the 8th season. It's about analyzing and distinguishing meanings. Okay, let's move on to the next page. This is the learning outcomes. So students are able to identify, analyzing, and distinguishing meanings. So our topic is about lexical relations. Knowing an expression's meaning doesn't simply involve knowing its definition or inherent semantics content, and as well as knowing a word definitional meaning. A competent speaker knows how it relates to other words of the language, which words are synonyms, which one are antonyms, and which are meronyms linked by the relation of the part of a whole, and which are hyponyms linked by a relation kind of, and describing and accounting for this relationship has often been taken as one of the principal tests of lexical semantics. Relationships like synonym, antonym, meronym, and so on all concern the paradigmatic relation of the expression, and relation which determine the choice of one lexical item over another. In the construction of any utterance, the speaker is typically confronted with a choice between various lexical items. So the highlighted expressions of is stand in various types of paradigmatic relation to those of, and such as like this. Kitchen is meronym of restaurant, so it's a part of restaurant. And then often is the antonym of rare. Many is a synonym of numerous, and sushi is a hyponym of the Japanese food. So it's a bit confusing between meronym and hyponym, but I will explain it later. Next is about antonym. You know antonym, right? Lawan kata in Indonesia. And speaker of English can readily agree that the words like good, bad, love, have, and in, out are opposites or antonyms. The notion of oppositeness involved here seems to cover several different types of relation. In general, however, antonym may be characterized as a relationship of incompatibility between two terms with respect to some given dimension of contrast. Some words seems to have more than one antonym depending on the dimension of contrast involved, just like girl has both boy and woman. Depending on whether the dimension of contrast is sex or age, sweet has both bitter and sour. This is based on Murphy and 2003, page 173. Sorry, that's my cat. I have 9 cats. And next, it's about, okay, not every word has an obvious antonym, just like library of corresponding are 3 cases for which there is no obvious relevant dimension of contrast and for which antonyms are consequently hard to identify. And even where an obvious dimension of contrast does exist, antonyms are not always available. For example, angry doesn't have any obvious antonym in English, even though we can easily conceive of the scale of arousal and calmness to which it belongs. Nevertheless, antonym is an important relation within the vocab of a language. And then when we discussing about antonym, the principal distinction we have to make is between gradable and non-gradable antonyms. Non-gradable antonyms are antonyms which do not admit a midpoint, such as male, female, or pass-fail. Assertion of those typically entails the denial of the others. Thus, if someone gradable antonyms like hot, cold, or good or bad seems to be more common than non-gradable ones. A gradable pair of antonyms names points on a scale which contains a midpoint. Just like, hot and cold are 2 points toward different ends of a scale which has a midpoint, and which is used to refer to temperature of liquid, which are neither hot or cold because we have the scale, right? And then but somewhere in between. A consequence of the fact that gradable antonyms occur on a scale in the fact that they are open to comparison. Next, because we only have 8 minutes, so I have to explain it briefly. Next is about meronym. Meronym means it's a part of relation. It's not a problem. So typically, meronym is taken to be transitive. If A is a meronym of B and B is a meronym of C, then A is also a meronym of C. This follows what seems to be the logical structure of the part-whole relation. If A is a part of B which is turned to a part of C, then it seems to be necessarily true that A is also part of C. I'm giving you the example. A seed is a part of fruit. A fruit is a part of plant. And a seed is a part of plant. That's what we call meronym. Let's move on to the next slide about hyponym. Hyponym means is the lexical relation by the phrase kind, type, of sort. A chain of hyponym defines a hierarchy of elements. Just like sports car is a hyponym of car, since the sport car is kind of car, and a car in turn is a hyponym of vehicle, since a car is a kind of vehicle. This is another example. Blues, jazz is a kind of music. And then ski, parka, jacket is a part of jacket as well. Ski, parka, or parka. And then commander, soldier is a member of armed force. And then next, martini and cocktail is about drink, something like that. Next, taxonomy. Taxonomy is hold on. As we saw in the last section, one of the problems is making the notion of hyponymy explicit derived from the equivocal nature of the predicate kind of. This seems to denote about the strict hierarchy defining conclusion relation to the kinds for car, vehicle, and the looser compression relation to the sort exemplified. The strict reading of kind is best demonstrated by taxonomies, hyponymic hierarchy, or names of for plants and animals. An English example of taxonomy is just like this. I'm giving you the example, but I couldn't find any example, so you can just read it on the slide on the material later. Okay, and then the next one is about synonym. Synonym, do you know synonym? Persamaan kata in Indonesia. Okay, so we will only be concerned here with lexical synonym, assuming that phrasal synonym can mostly be derived from the synonym of the phrase. Component like seems, something like that, only in the word. So meaning identity or synonym is a part of a metalinguistic stock in trade of ordinary speakers of English. We often refer to words as having the same meaning, something like that, and however we usually restrict our statement of the synonym of two words to the utterance level. Okay, I think that's all for this session. See you next time. Bye bye.